Another milestone in the word history. Episode number 10 of the podcast. We've been away for almost exactly a month. And we just have to apologize because, normally people apologize. They say, oh, we're really sorry we weren't on the air. I mean, yeah, we wanted to be on the air, but we didn't realize that the show not being on for a month would turn the sports world upside down, which
I'm
is...
not sorry, James.
You're not sorry.
I'm not sorry. Look, October is sweet. We had to get ready. We had to prepare some things for the show. We needed a little time.
Yeah.
Listen, much like the NBA, sometimes you need to rest. You can be at your best when it matters most.
Okay. I mean, and we definitely got some good rest in.
Great rest. The best rest. So much resting that I'm tired of resting.
I need to rest from resting. You'll never rest like us. We're going to rest like... You're never going to believe how great we're going to rest.
We hired some of the best resters.
Oh, we actually were in the same metropolitan area last weekend.
We were in the same zip code for a little while.
Police were on high alert. There was a lot of all the fajita places were like, look, we just got to be ready. They might come in. They might get 2 fajitas.
They closed down early.
We
did have a great meal together.
Oh my gosh. I have never been to Poor Calvin's, and I used to live a stone's throw from there. And I was always walk past and be like, what is this place? And Richard Bruce was in town for the tour championship. I met him there with the crew, and that food, the crispy beef, bro.
The fried chicken over lobster mac and cheese was pretty tight.
I mean, get out of here. What is life?
So, just public service announcement. If you're ever in the Atlanta metro area, check out Fort Calvin.
It's an unbelievable place. Unbelievable. And the desserts, I mean, come on. The best desserts.
We got so rich desserts.
Oh, I can't do it. This is real. We did have a good... I got a good political briefing because I don't really keep up with the news. So I was getting the...
Or sports. I'm beginning to question what you do keep up with.
That's a good question. What do I do with my time? I don't want to jinx myself here. I've been in an interview process this week and that's been taking up a lot of my time, getting ready for that, thinking about that, just a lot of prep. But
you got to think about your future, James.
Yeah, I'm trying to be...
Be your future, James.
It's like a Boys and Girls Club commercial, and...
I was going Caddyshack, but sure.
We're always on the same page, or we're always at least in the same chapter,
for sure,
or subheading of a textbook. Like it's a big battle, it break it up into pieces. We're in there somewhere, swimming around. I feel like I'm working on...
I don't know where you're going with this.
I'm just working on my stand-up routine, clearly. But what I was apologizing for was that the sports world completely lost its mind.
I thought it was that Twitter went to 280 characters. I thought that was what you were apologizing for.
No, but I don't like it.
Yeah.
Oh. Twitter is a social media app that I am right now allowing myself to have on my phone, which is very rare for me. Anybody that knows me knows I don't really like that stuff. And I don't like the 280, dude.
It just gives people more characters in which to be racist or misogynistic.
It's not even that, because I'm so filtered on it, I don't really see a lot of that. It's more like, I just loved the shortness of it before. But shout out to Twitter. Shout out to Twitter. I've been publishing some soccer articles on Medium, which is.
I noticed. I don't understand any of them, but I noticed.
Oh, you've been reading. You've been keeping up with the Gaffa.
I've been keeping up with them on Diaz.
Wow.
That's right.
Wow, that would be a reality show. It would. I don't know how long it would last. It would just be like, well, I'm not even. I'm going to go there. I'm not doing my stand-up routine tonight. So.
Wait, what's the deal with them on Diaz?
So the sports world just completely imploded, and I guess it's our fault. It's you and I have the responsibility to bear.
Great power comes great responsibility.
This podcast that is listened to by 5/10 of people, maybe that's a big stretch.
Accidentally.
Yeah, because it is actually very hard to find us. You might you might pick the wrong one.
Not a word, it's the word.
We have the NFL and Donald Trump in a feud. The NBA is getting dragged into it. Rick Pitino is out here, just that Steven Soderbergh script. Soderbergh. What? Okay, what is going on?
What was that? I don't even know what accent that was.
Who am I?
Steven Soderbergh.
Soderbergh.
There you go.
Holy cow. That script is going to be great. And he's fired. Other than that, a pretty tame couple of weeks, though.
What was he fired from?
Patino?
No, Soderbergh.
No, I'm saying the script, the movie that he's going to make about.
I thought he got fired for something.
No.
Well, technically, Patino is not fired yet. He's just on administrative leave.
Bro.
He will be fired.
Bro.
Much like having a hangover means you were drunk, being on administrative leave means you will be fired.
Speaking of which, today's program is sponsored by Corona Light. I got it at Publix today, and shout out to Publix. Decent prices, good shop.
Love the pub.
Oh, you have the pub down there, don't you? Pub is a big thing in Florida.
It's the best.
When I got to Miami, I was actually very excited to finally get like a Publix sub. I mean, they're out of control.
They're fantastic. And friends of mine who went to Florida State have told me about the Publix in Tallahassee, I guess it's near campus. Like people would get dressed up to go to Publix because it was a great place to like meet girls.
Bro, what? What? Why does that anger me? I'm like so jealous.
Listen, I told you to move down here. You didn't. So you're not invited. You're not invited anymore, James. My invitation.
First of all, wait. I did live in Florida. I got kicked out. I got booted out.
That's unfortunate.
I mean, I would love to pop off at a Publix.
Hey, you got a Publix up there. You're doing okay.
But I want a Florida Publix. Anyway, I'm sorry. We're getting
sidetracked.
So, by the way, we didn't talk about this in the green room, so this is fresh. Well, a lot of this is fresh, but I got a fiery text from Richard Brewster Abernathy. He was fired up early in the week. He's like, "Yo, the show. Yo, I'm going off on the show." You say again?
I'm still a little fired up.
This guy's fired up. People, y'all better turn your headphones down. Everybody listening, if you're in your car, just turn it down a little bit. Be safe, because the volume in here is going to get wild. This guy's fired up, people. He's sending me fiery texts like, "Look, I'm going in on the show." I was like, I didn't even know how to respond. It took me a while. I was like, "Let's go." This guy's he's coming in. I was taken aback. I was like, "Yeah, let's go, Richard Bruce." Okay? The American people voted you in. You should be in the White House right now. I voted you in.
I appreciate that. Your write-in votes mean a lot.
I mean, this dude. Now you're fired up. I'm fired up now. I'm like jumping around my apartment right now.
Fired up by association?
I am. I'm FIBA.
By proxy?
I'm FUBA. That is good. I'm right. We're keeping that on the show. FUBA. Yo, man, this dude got me FUBA. So, the what I'm getting at is my esteemed colleague Richard Bruce Roosevelt Abernathy is feeling a little heated regarding the NFL protest situation, what it's turned into. We discussed it a little bit at dinner, and the thing about talking about it at dinner, I people don't believe me when I say this. I don't watch the news. I don't have cable in my house. I mean, I have like some channels and HBO. They gave me HBO free for a year, but nothing else. But I don't have a TV, so I just watch it on my apps or whatever. But I don't watch the news. I don't read it unless there's something crazy going on, like during the hurricanes. Obviously, I'm reading and seeing what's going on locally and
Transfer season.
well, I do keep up with sports news a little bit. Like, yeah, definitely transfer window. I'm like glued to ESPNFC.us. Let's get them as a sponsor, or we sponsor them. I don't know. So, I was getting briefed from all of this, like, because I didn't believe you. I honestly didn't believe everybody at dinner was saying he called them sons of bitches and they have to get fired. I was like, there's no way. Like that's a president, even him. But apparently I was wrong.
And he doubled down on it again yesterday or today. Just keeps going back to the well.
And my esteemed colleague has some thoughts on that. And I this is fresh for me. I've just got a text prelude, but I haven't read the script yet. So this is like hot, fresh take. The mountains are blue, Coors Light can, refreshing.
Yes, to be clear, it's a hot, fresh take, not a fresh hot take.
Ooh.
I don't think it's a hot take.
Ooh. I don't know.
I don't know if it's lukewarm. It's definitely not tepid.
Ooh.
But I'm going to stray from the norm a little bit on this. When it comes to the protest, well, I'm curious where you stand, James, before I get on my soapbox and get my soliloquy on.
Yeah.
Or my monologue, I guess, rather. What were your thoughts? I like to try to make it more of a conversation rather than me ranting.
Yeah.
So I'm curious where you stand on the issue. We try to not get overly political on the show.
Mm-hmm.
Not that we stick to sports, quote unquote. But we just prefer to kind of keep things light and talk about other nonsensical bullshit like the difference between texting yes and yes with a period. It's important issues such as those rather than larger, more of a micro view than a macro. But more and more in 2017, as the year goes along, those walls, those silos, those aspects of our society that separate the serious stuff from the not as serious tend to be intermingled. And the toothpaste is out of the tube, for lack of a better term. So I think that it's something that we need to address from time to time, or at least I want to address from time to time, because while this show is hopefully of entertainment value for at least a couple of you who might listen, it's also somewhat therapeutic and good for us to talk some things out and get some things off our chest. And I think this is one of those times. So before I really go deep or go ham, as the kids say, Um, I'm just curious to get your thoughts on the issue. Um, Not to put you on the spot or anything, but I'm curious what your take was on the protest, not just last week, but really when they started last year. What your initial take was and how that's evolved over the last 13 months or so.
Yeah, well, I learned a lot about what the national anthem is, and I was lucky enough to learn about that because I've been involved in collegiate and professional sports for a long time, and well, really sports at all levels. So the national anthem was just always something that we just, yeah, it's a game, we do national anthem. And then learning the history of it and now learning how it's become, to some degree, a monetization scheme and marketing scheme by the military, uh, that changed my perspective because a protest, people are free to protest, but the reaction to it was so interesting. And then seeing some of the counter reaction that, well, what is the national anthem and what are we standing up for? But also, what actually is this ritual that we do? So that was really intriguing, and that put it into perspective for me a little bit. That the symbolism is really what people are getting caught up in, and not necessarily what is objectively being attempted, which is attention to a specific social issue or a couple of them. So using something that's so symbolic as a tool is really triggering people to the point where the president, who has enough to deal with typically, but would probably still kind of tangentially get involved, is now making it a frontline issue because now
Get involved in a different way.
yeah, not as like a major policy thing where now it's like you have to have a stance on either you're with the protesters or you're against them. It's like, there's so much other things going on. So I think it's been handled. It's obviously been handled poorly by the White House, but what's interesting to me is if the conversation will linger, and that's what intrigues me about this upcoming weekend, which fortunately I'll be able to actually like experience. Is this something that is going to be become a movement? Sports are good for that, or is it something that's going to eventually just fade away? But I don't have as strong
I say yes.
that it'll become a movement.
No, I think both. Um, I'll get to my real feelings in a minute, but looking forward, I do think it's a thing that has sort of hit a fever pitch last week and maybe you know this week, the next couple weeks, like it's sort of at the peak of what it's going to be. And I think some of the on-field stuff will evolve or possibly die down to some degree. And I think that it's going to spur a little more action out of that than maybe normal. Just because whether it's out of people will continue to make their point, but I think some of the players may shift their involvement to more off the field stuff than on the sideline, just based on what the reaction has been. I don't think it's going to necessarily make them be quiet or stop. I think there'll still be the core people that will do it, but I think the big reaction last week was in response to the criticism.
Yeah.
So then the movement itself, it was a situation that was kind of, I don't want to say dying down, but it sort of leveled off to some degree. That you had I heard a stat that like 20 people ish had done it the week before. And then following the comments, it was like 100 and something last week, and 3 teams who didn't even come out.
Mm-hmm.
So I do think that the response last week was more directed at the reaction from the White House and the Nectarine Noriega.
Jesus Christ.
As I will now refer to him on this show. I think it was as much in response to that as it was the initial movement and cause. So I think moving forward, it will be something that will die down. People will, it's like anything else. It'll run its course and it'll evolve. And people who swear they'll, it's like anything else. You go to a restaurant, they get your order wrong. I'm never going to that place again. And then 2 weeks later, you're back there and you completely forgot that you said that. So I do think that's where it will eventually go.
Wow. Richard Bruce Shaw Abernathy from CNN providing insight into the future of the protests in the NFL going on right now, which of course we are. Oh, good grief. Man, talk about a downward spiral of a network. I mean, who are we to talk? But come on.
No, yeah, we've been in a downward spiral. If anyone knows downward spiral, it's us.
Yeah, so I know the warning signs. CNN, I see it coming. I loved when Jon Stewart went on Larry King for one of Larry King's last interviews, and he was just like, Stewart was like, excuse me, he was like, boy, you're getting out of here at the right time. This is a sinking ship. I mean, it was just so great. It was incredible.
I miss Jon Stewart.
I do. I don't watch The Daily Show anymore. I don't even really watch like the YouTube, the popular clips on YouTube.
I still watch it, but it's not the same. I don't like Trevor Noah, but it's just not the same.
Yeah.
I've talked about that on here before. I like it, but it's not the same. But getting a little more into the meat of the protest.
Okay.
I gotta say, this is an issue that we've discussed on the show before, so I want to try to dissect this a little bit. First is the whole First Amendment issue.
Okay.
Which I think was really at the core of last week. So we won't be silenced. We can say what we want. But as we've talked about, a lot of people, confuse First Amendment right with, I can say whatever I want or do whatever I want under free speech, and there are no repercussions. Which is not the case. Like, if I came on here and went on a rant and said some awful things, and someone at my employer heard it, and they felt like they wanted to discipline me or fire me based on that, there are legal avenues to that is something they could pursue and something they could do. Like, I'm free to say what I want, but if it means I get fired from my job, that's the price I pay for saying what I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
Now, obviously, they're within reason. Like, there has to be some sort of transgression, or they have to tell me that I can't. We see it all the time with people at ESPN. The whole Jamel Hill thing, different things like that. That there are sometimes restrictions put on what they want you to talk about or stay away from certain subjects, or and if you go against that, that's obviously insubordination or different things. There are different avenues in which that can cost you your job or suspension, whatever. So, I'm not one who believes in, hey, you can say whatever you want and nothing can happen. I don't agree with that. But I also don't agree with the President of the United States calling for people to be fired and prompting and trying to goad people into taking action against people for exercising their First Amendment. I'm even more opposed to that. And that's what happened. And that to me is completely unacceptable, especially considering what they were speaking out against. Which I would hope pretty much every person, especially every elected official, would be against people being treated poorly based on their race or being, victims of excessive force by law enforcement and different things like that. That's where the movement stemmed from. That's what started it. And whether you agree with the form in which they expressed those views or not, you have to support. To me, I would think that I would want them to support that cause and support that message. And if their response was, well, I respect what you're doing. That's within your rights. I understand why you're doing it. I wish you wouldn't do it there. Let's find a better way for us to get this message across and be an avenue of change and promote people coming together on an issue that I think most reasonable people can get behind, rather than being divisive and trying to stir up anger and stir up resentment with veiled and not so veiled, racially, motivated speech. That to me is what has infuriated me over the past week or so. And I wished every single player in the NFL had taken a knee or not come out for the anthem last week. Nothing would have made me happier. Because clearly, and as a Caucasian middle-class male, I don't have a whole lot of experience with this, but clearly there are people who are treated differently based on how they look. That's an inescapable truth of the world in which we live. Mm-hmm. Whether it is intentional, more subconscious, whatever the reasons are, and I think they vary, and I think that's a nuanced conversation. You cannot live in the world that we live today and claim that is not the case, or get upset at people speaking out about that, because it's a fact. It's an inescapable fact, and something needs to be done, and somebody needs to promote that conversation and try to bring awareness and promote that change. And if all they're asking people to do is have a little, at the very least, is just recognize. It's much like anything else. What's the first step at AA? It's admitting you have a problem. That's the first step in solving anything. Is saying this is an issue. This is a problem, and they're trying to shine a light on that. And I don't think that it then gets twisted into, they're disrespecting the flag and the anthem. No, they're not. That is a way for them to make that scene and make that hurt. And anybody who says, I support what they're doing, but I don't support how they're doing it, and they should just do it, in a off the field or in a manner that's a little quieter. Well, that's not what a protest is. A protest is to disrupt the flow in some peaceful way, but it's not supposed to be business as usual. It's supposed to be uncomfortable. It's supposed to make you think about it. If it's done off to the side in such a way, then it's not a protest. It's not accomplishing anything. And these discussions that we're having, this talk that we're having now, the discourse may get effed up from time to time, especially, amongst certain elected officials. But we're having the conversation because of what they've done. So it's an important thing for people to be able to do if they choose. And especially, I know several owners have come out that we stand with our players. We support them in expressing their views. And, as long, again, back to the employer conversation, as long as whoever you work for says, hey, we don't have a problem with what you're doing, do it up. So often the NFL and other professional sports can be a spotlight on some of the lesser aspects of our society, whether it's different criminal things, or abusing women, or domestic violence and those types of things, DUIs, all those types of things that are not what we strive for, on a personal level. In this case, it's doing the opposite, and it's standing up for people and giving voice to people who can't do it for themselves. And for all the people that are saying that they're ungrateful, that's a load of bullshit. They're not, for the most part, saying, hey, I had it rough. Hey, my life sucks. That is not what they're saying. It's, hey, there are a lot of people, and I'm sure a lot of them at various points, maybe even still, suffer through some of those things. But it's more for people who don't have that platform, who don't have that opportunity to shed light on those issues, and they're trying to do that to help other people besides themselves. And so much of their response has been predictable, but it's also been sad to me to see that people are upset in getting rid of their season tickets or canceling. DirecTV is offering refunds on the Sunday ticket package for people who have because of this.
I saw that.
I mean, look, if you want to disagree, if you want to have an issue with how they're doing it, I don't agree with you, but is that, again, that's your right. If you feel that that's not the place and that's not the way, okay, we can have a civil discourse about that, and I may feel one way, you may feel another way, but so much of it extends so much more beyond that. It's being turned into another issue, and they're misunderstanding what the whole protest is about. That to me is the more troubling thing. And I'm proud to see pro athletes taking a stand, doing, in addition to all the other things they do in communities already. I mean, there's so many players. While we hear about all the bad things, so many players have their own charitable outreach, do things for kids, go to visit hospitals, do stuff for kids around the holidays, create foundations, try to support causes that they feel strongly about. But to see some social warriors out there, it does make me happy. It does, it makes me smile, even if the response to it was as predictably, head shaking as I thought it might be.
Richard Bruce Cooper Abernathy breaking down the NFL protest situation. It's gotten so big, or it was at least.
Yeah, and here's another thing that I want to talk about also. Why is kneeling for the anthem disrespectful?
Yeah.
If you go to church, you can pray standing up. You could pray kneeling. You could have your eyes closed. You could have your eyes open. But rather than standing and swaying with your hand over your heart, if you kneel, that somehow is disrespectful. I mean, I get it. It breaks from conformity, and it stands out, and that's kind of the point. But it doesn't mean that it's disrespectful.
Right.
Just because people stand, they're trying, people always stand. Well, until about 8 years ago, players weren't even out there for the national anthem.
Yeah, I know.
And the reason that they started parading them out there was for part of these displays that were supported by the military, and they paid the NFL teams to do to promote military causes and enrollment and recognize people in different things. And that's another conversation entirely. So, for people who claim that they're politicizing the anthem, well, the anthem was already politicized. So they might just be politicizing it in a way that you don't disagree with, but they're not doing anything that hadn't already been done.
Mm-hmm.
So I just don't understand why, at a core level, why kneeling for the anthem is considered disrespectful. I really don't.
Yeah, because you're not like mocking it. You're not distracting from the moment. You're just doing your own thing.
Yeah, you're not. Yeah, it would be one thing if they completely ignored it and they were out there jogging on the field and continuing to warm up as if nothing was happening. Then you might be able to swing that.
Mm-hmm.
They're kneeling or they're sitting on the bench with their arms on teammates. Like they're handling that situation in a way that might be different, but it doesn't mean it's disrespectful. Is it disrespectful if you're in line getting a beer when the national anthem comes on and you're at the stadium? It makes you anti-American?
Right.
You're in the bathroom and you're walking to your seat, or you're walking into the stadium as it happens? Are you against America? No, of course not. And neither are the people who are kneeling. I don't understand why that's an argument, and I know it's people trying to deflect from the real issue and trying to make it about something else, and trying, it's a triggered, dog whistle type of thing. But I just don't get why that is hated as being disrespectful, because I don't think it is.
Right.
And the other thing that continues to confuse me and baffle me is a response of, well, if you don't like America, then, you know, if you're going to kneel and you don't think our country's great, you can just get the hell out. It's a common thing to hear. But James, I'll offer a metaphoric example.
Okay.
Let's say you lived in a house. You really liked that house. You moved into that house for a reason. You thought it was great. And as you're living in that house for a while, you're like, oh, well, parts of this house are really outdated from like the 1960s and 70s, and could probably stand to be updated. How, you know, parts of this house are put together, and the way that they look, and the way they, you know, they function. So let's say, you know, hey, I'd like to upgrade my kitchen. Get rid of this 1970s olive and tan kitchen and get some modern appliances in here and change this thing up a little bit. Would one of your friends say, well, if you don't like that house, you can just get the hell out? Of course not. Wanting to improve and better the place in which you live doesn't mean that you don't love that place. In fact, it means the opposite. And I know that that's not usually a sincere reaction, and that's oftentimes a mask or a cover for other feelings. When people say that, not always, but I would say a fair amount of the time that's probably true. But it just doesn't make any sense. That to me is just an incredibly inane reaction to what's going on, and is a good sign that maybe you're a person that I don't really want to spend a lot of time with.
Richard Bruce Krugman Abernathy is going in, people. Buckle up. People think it's a game.
Also, I have a confession to make, James.
Whoa. Dude, I
kneeled during the show music intro tonight. Oh. I hope you don't think that I disrespect the word.
Anybody who is caught kneeling during the word intro, oh, they should be fired. There's sons of bitches, get them out of there. Yeah. You have turned me, I am Trump now. I'm upset with you. No, the show's over. 37 minutes in, over. The show, we're going to have the shortest shows. The shows are going to be so short. Show is over.
We're going to have the best shows.
The show is over. You knelt during the word intro.
I did.
Wow.
I started to not come out of the green room. But I wanted to come out and kneel in a show of solidarity.
What are you protesting?
The same thing they are.
Oh, I thought that I did something that you were protesting.
No, not this week. No, I mean, look, I know I'm a white guy, and I know I probably haven't gone through any of that. Mm-hmm. But I'm a reasonable person. I'm a rational person. It's obvious that people are mistreated because of the color of their skin. Mm-hmm. This is not news. And especially when it comes to law enforcement and other, you know, establishments in our society. And I fully support anything we can do to change that. And I don't know how you affect that many hearts and minds, and I think it's going to take generations. And in some ways we've seen progress, in some ways we haven't. But, you know, I think more people than not agree that that's something that happens and it's a problem and it shouldn't happen. And just people being reasonable and recognizing where other people are coming from and acknowledging that they have a valid point is the first step in fixing the whole thing. And the simplest thing that you can do as a human being is understand another person. You don't have to do anything. It doesn't cost you any money. It doesn't really cost you any time. It's just understand where someone's coming from and what they've gone through, and try to be cognizant of that is a big part of fixing the problem. And I don't understand why that's so hard and why some people are so also resistant to trying to spread that message.
Richard Bruce Dean Abernathy. I told people to buckle up. If they didn't buckle up, I mean, what? That's it.
They crashed through the glass a couple of turns ago.
They're out. They're off a cliff. They're done.
So I hated to go so deep on that and to make this such a serious show. I know we like to bullshit and have fun and talk about other things, but I just thought that was too important to go and to at least not speak about it and speak my mind and my heart and say what I needed to say. So, and if that means that you don't listen to the show anymore, the four of you that listen, so be it. That's the price I'm willing to pay.
This guy, I'm watching the rise of the next governor of North Carolina. Oh my gosh, I'm a genius. That's it. Wait, I just figured it out.
I like our current governor. That's fine. When Roy Cooper's done, shout out to Roy Cooper.
Shout outs. Early shout outs, people.
But if Roy decides that he's had enough, I will gladly come home and move to Raleigh and take on that responsibility.
I am doing a podcast with the future president. Do you people realize what's going on here? I'm looking around.
I've done too much dumb shit.
No, that is why I voted for you this time. That is why I will vote for you again. That is why I endorse Richard Bruce O'Shaughnessy McLean Saskatchewan Abernathy for President of the United States of America.
Three things. One, just textbook political cadence. Absolutely phenomenal.
Thank you. I practice a lot.
That was somehow a combination of a John F. Kennedy and Hillary Rodham Clinton impression. I don't know how you pulled that off, but it was. And third and most importantly, I'm touched, honored, I'm not worthy of such a reception from my co-host.
I texted someone. Did you know? Okay. This podcast has a biggest fan.
I've heard that.
And I actually texted her during the show. Well, I'm texting her now. And, I'm like, she's like, when are you going to record? I'm like, we're busy, et cetera, et cetera. And so I finally texted her. I was like, yeah, we're recording right now. And I forgot to warn her that you're not playing around today, dude.
Yeah, tell her to wear some flavor retardant clothing because I'm bringing the heat.
This guy, people think I'm gonna punch a hole through my wall if you keep this up.
Well, let's not have that. I want you to get your security deposit back. So.
Shout out to security. Shout out to getting a security deposit back. It's really not that satisfying though.
It's like the shittiest investment ever.
It's not even. You just get your money back. It's like, what did I give you this money for?
Like a savings bond, but worse.
Yeah, like I got negative interest here. This money's probably worth more if I just took it out and burned it or something. Like you guys just kept it. Whatever. I mean, I get why they exist. I'm not mad at. I don't even know. But
I've lived with people who are in the embodiment of why.
Speaking of punching a hole through a wall, we had a party off Franklin. Wait, no. What is that road called now? Oh, it was Airport Road, but now it's MLK. And we had a party there one time, and this was when I was DJing, and I was always playing music for the parties, even if it was just like off my iPod or something. And we put on Pop Lock and Drop It, and this was back when that song was new. And a camp friend of mine who I used to work with had brought one of her friends over. to the party. So we're just all hanging out at the party in the living room, dancing, whatever, listening to music. And Pop, Lock, and Drop comes on, and they like go into this like, I mean, it was like the most flawless popping, locking, and dropping. I mean, it was just like, it was inspirational. It was like watching like Madame Butterfly. That's a dance thing, right? What's the dance thing? The Swan Lake. That's the one.
Swan Lake, yeah.
Madame Butterfly. Jesus Christ. Like, it's like watching that. And I was so riled up, which I know was a big surprise for me. And I was like banging on the wall and just punched a hole straight through it. Like, I hit like a dead spot, or in between, the studs. So yeah, we had to deal with that, when we were moving out and stuff. So I guess I understand.
Anytime anyone punches a hole in the wall, I think of the scene from The Office when Ed Helms punches the wall, gets mad and punches the wall.
Oh, where's my freaking cell phone?
Yeah, and then immediately regrets it and goes, "That was an overreaction."
That's such a great episode. Tweedly-deedly-dee.
That's a great show.
Deedly-deedly-dee. Deedly-deedly-dee. Hey, Large Tuna, have you seen my cell phone?
Did you know he went to Cornell? Bernard, the Nard dog, if you will, Cornell. To transition to a lighter and happier subject matter.
Okay.
Unless you have anything else you'd like to add.
No, I'm not going to follow that up. Look, you just put your platform for president on the podcast. I am a part of history now. I'm like Ed Sullivan when the Beatles came out.
Which Beatle am I? that was very Lennon of me just now. So, I'll answer my own question. But yeah. Moving on to a little lighter subject. Can I just say I'm really glad that, because everything, especially like NFL wise, has to have a gate, Deflate Gate, Spy Gate. I'm glad that this wasn't like Kneel Gate or Anthem Gate. I'm so glad that nobody's called it that yet, and now that I've said it, I'm sure that it'll happen. But the one mildly redeeming quality of this whole conversation has been the lack of the de-gating of the quote-unquote controversy. That's been the only thing that's helped provide just some hope in humanity. But moving on to something a little more fun. I have a show that I'd like to recommend.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to get it together, dude. This dude's talking about
The Laughter Gate clearly is in effect tonight.
Which Beatle am I?
Well, you're Ed Sullivan, and by proxy, that makes me the Beatle. Like, I didn't say I was the Beatle. I did it off of your opinion, and I just wanted a little clarity on the situation. That's all.
Oh, God.
Which one am I, James? Okay. I have a show recommendation. Really for anybody listening. It has nothing to do with the Beatles. If you don't watch The Good Place,
Oh, come on. Are you serious?
I'm serious.
Oh, gosh.
What?
Bro, The Good Place.
Yeah, it's good. It's in the name.
I don't think I can be able to finish this show. This dude is...
What? Oh, another word tradition, James, losing in the middle of an episode. Here, Let me try to sell you on the show.
No. It just looks so cheesy, dude. And I love Homegirl. I would cuddle.
It's not cheesy. Kristen Bell, fantastic. Comedy legend Ted Danson.
He's funny.
But above all, I trusted Mike Schur.
Which one? Who dat?
He worked on The Office as one of the writers and showrunners. Also played Moe's Fruit in a few cameo appearances on the show. Created and ran Parks and Recreation. And now created and runs The Good Place. And it's a half-hour comedy, pretty light, but it's very funny, and it touches on some slightly deeper stuff, substance, not overtly, but it's really good.
Richard Bruce Ebert Abernathy.
And I'm hesitant to say too much, just because there's some plot things that I don't want to ruin for anybody. Like even when they were first doing press for the show, they didn't really talk a lot about what the premise is, and you'll find out why if you watch it. But if you listen to the show, there's a good chance that we kind of vibe on a pop culture level. So take some time, watch a few episodes of The Good Place. They just started season 2. They're only like 12 episodes of season 1. It's not that daunting. It's not like Game of Thrones where you have 500 hours of, incest and dragon killing to watch.
Hey, settle down.
It's worth your time, in my opinion. So check it out. Shout out to The Good Place.
You know how I am though with TV shows. You know by now.
I know.
I mean, it's just embarrassing that I'm even protesting this because I'm gonna watch it in like a year and be like, why didn't y'all force me to watch it? Like,
why didn't somebody tell me?
Stop! I'm done. I'm ending the show. I'm ending it. It's over. You better. Okay. See, this is what. You better. Dude. I will pull the plug. I will pull the plug on this podcast. Okay. This is the thing that people need to understand is that people think this is like a partnership that we're like on a podcast. We're doing this thing. I come in and I get trolled. Every week, Richard Bruce, he'll throw something at me. He doesn't prep me in the green room. He's throwing stuff at me now. I just have so much I need to say to the world, but they won't understand. Oh. I mean, I'm going to write a poem to somebody.
Okay.
We did talk about this in the green room.
We did talk about this.
I'm going to write a poem to somebody, and
Cummings over here.
and I'm just going to... I'm going to go for it, man. I'm going to go for it.
Write a poem.
I mean, this is the problem. You see,
Once was a man from Nantucket.
Remember when we had a guy that called in, he did the Hickory Dickory Dock?
I know. The best ever use of cutting the mic. The fact that did not win an Emmy, at least a local Emmy, when we were on student television, one of the crimes of the century. It's like 9/11 and then that.
Our show was a groundbreaking show. I mean, it
really was. Like we say that like it sounds like we're joking, but we really were kind of ahead of the curve on it. Like, it wasn't. It was certainly rough around the edges, especially where the show talent was concerned. But some of the show production things that we did were really kind of, dare I say, avant-garde.
Bruh, we were taking instant messages during the show. I mean,
Yeah.
we, at one point, because I finally figured out how to get the chroma like overlay thing working, we would take the instant messages and tally up like dorm against dorm, like, yo, which dorm is bringing the heat tonight on the IMs?
Yeah, we have like poll questions and stuff.
I mean,
we were I wouldn't say low budget. We were a no budget sports nation.
yeah. You know, and people think it's a game too.
Also, clearly, I was Beatle and you were Colin Coward, but that's a conversation.
Oh, this dude. It's probably good that we don't record the show in the same room very often because I would just be like,
You're definitely Beatle.
I would just be jumping around, like on top of you, like throwing tables. Like I would just be, it'd be like the Octagon podcast.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sometimes, for some people, a long distance relationship works, James.
You're telling me. Especially when you troll me. This dude's been trolling me all show. Dude, bro. Oh my God, you're over here talking about high school sports. Bruh, I'm writing a poem. For those of you that have... Yeah, for those of you that have no idea what we're talking about, we're not going to explain it, so that's that. Yeah, but
some jokes stay on the inside.
Yeah, we got to keep this one close to the vest.
We should continue to put out the podcast for free, but we should charge like pay-per-view rates for access to the green room conversations.
You know, I have to.
You make money off a podcast right there,
bro. But people are doing that. It's not a game out here. Like,
I didn't know people were really doing it.
Oh, dude! Like, I actually participated in one. So, this is actually an interesting topic. So, like, Deadmau5, the musician, started like.
Not Deadmau5, as some people call it.
Or I had one guy say, "You know about this cat? He wears a thing on his head. It's Demu5." I'm like, oh god. I was like, yeah, I like him too. That's definitely what his name is. But he, like, is a kind of a computer nerd, and obviously that's kind of how he got started in music, was like what they used to call chiptune. So he had all these like hard drives and terabytes of old music that he made, and he was like, what should I do with this? Like, I don't even know. Like, and so he was like really active on his social media. So they started doing this thing. He was like, well, I'm just going to charge you guys $5 and you like get like access to these tracks that I've never released, but I've played at my shows. And this is kind of similar to like the Fish model, where it's very like, we are the amusement park. Everything you get from us directly. We own everything. So it was like $5 a month, and then he was like, I'm going to do private like chats and private studio sessions, and he would like webcast and while he's making a song, and I'm working on the album tonight, you guys can come watch. And he's like, talk about music production techniques. And then now Twitch has come along, and Twitch has that as like a built-in model. So like if you're on Twitch, you can just like create a screen that's like, all right, if you want to be on this Twitch, you have to donate this much. And then you get like, it's like a semi-private stream. So, yeah, because it's like, because the reason why they're taking the donations. Yeah. I mean, and like people do like Loot Crate like tie-ins. So they're like, if you are a Patreon for $50 a month, then every month you get a Loot Crate of like my favorite gamer gear. And I mean, it's just the ecosystem of it is so incredible because people are making a living off of it. And it opened my eyes to, it started off as just gaming, and it's turned into other stuff. Like I was looking at like people doing live coding on there because I'm in that grind right now. But like it started off as gaming, and now I didn't realize how big of an industry that was financially. How much money is in gaming? I mean, in the marketing, in the magazines, in the actual sales. I mean, it's incredible. So we should, yeah. We have a Twitch. I just need to get it set up so that we can like do it live. We'll do it live. Shout out to. I guess I shouldn't really be shouting out to him. It's just weird. Like the world is so weird. What we can't take a month off a podcast again because this is insane. People are like, "Where's the Word podcast?" I'm gonna go do some insane, just unnecessary stuff. I'm gonna provoke world leaders. Let's
forget CNN, forget the New York Times, forget Twitter. We are America's watchdog.
Ooh, that means we get to get like someone like James Earl Jones to do our the drop for our commercials, like. Ba, 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 ba. This is CNN. Ba, 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 ba. But I guess we can't.
Pretty good, James Earl Jones.
That was pretty good, wasn't it? And I have headphones on, and I could even still hear. Like that was pretty good. Maybe we'll just do our own drops. We're doing our own drops, but we'll play with it. We'll fix it in post. For some reason, I leaned in when I said that, even though I'm not sitting in the same room with you. I'm like, that's like the kind you have to kind of lean in with when you say that. You have to like look very convincing. Like, yeah, we can definitely fix this terrible lighting problem that we should have accounted for given the time of day and the location. We can fix it in post. You have to like lean in for that.
That's one of my favorite dumb, horrible things to say in production.
Do you experience people saying that on shoots still to this day?
Yes.
No, you don't.
Yes. Although usually it's said jokingly or tongue in cheek as a joke.
Oh, okay.
They're like, how was that shot? We fixed it in post. Ha ha ha. Okay, let's do it again.
Yeah.
Occasionally there will be a client that's like, oh, can't we just fix that in post? No, we can't. Yeah, the part where he says the wrong words, we can't fix that in post.
Well, just reverse the order and then like anamorph his face and animate it and the keyframes.
Maybe if I had like the Mission Impossible 2 voice box thing that goes over my throat so I can sound like the person, then yeah, you could do it.
Shout out to Mission Impossible, the last one. I watched that last weekend for some reason, and I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Shout out to Tom Cruise.
Whoa.
Yep.
Talk about trolling people on the show.
No, I'm. This is not trolling. This is. I understand the ramifications of that shout out because we don't take shout outs lightly on this show.
We take a lot of things lightly, but not that.
Not shout outs. We used to not take 5 bold statements. I think it actually was 3 bold statements. 3 bold statements, yeah.
Wait, is this like the fish story that when you caught it was 6 pounds an hour? It was a 14-pound bass. Back in my day, we made 19 bold statements every episode.
Recording it going uphill both ways on a tape recorder.
In a tornado.
Yeah, we used to be very serious about that. We've tapered on that. That's okay. We're saving those, but we kind of replaced that with I got 5 on it, and we might try a new segment tonight. I need to download some files so that I'll segue into it if necessary. But
that's what they call it.
Ooh, I'm telling you, people think that we're playing.
Not a game. I've been told multiple times.
We went to. I have to tell people this. you were in town a couple weeks ago, and we went to lunch with a colleague of yours, Lauren. I'm getting the name right, correct?
You're getting that correct.
Okay. And, I just kind of kept saying, you think it's a game? This is a game. And I was being very over the top. It was morning. I was very energized to see you. It was, of course, I'm just, that's when you're hanging out with a future president, you get excited. So we were at the burger place, we're talking, I'm getting to know your colleague, talking to you, catching up. And I just kind of kept going back and like, you think it's a game? Because you thought it was a game that morning, just frankly.
I had until you rectified that mistake. You made it very clear to me that it was the opposite of a game.
But then I got, kind of riled up and I stood up or something. And then he just looked at me and he said, he goes, it's a game. And I just lost in the restaurant. I had to stand up and leave. And that's the second time you've done that. Every time you hang out, you're always making me leave the restaurant. Oh, my gosh.
Well, in my defense, at that point, it had, in fact, become a game. Such providence and
I'm going to kill you. I can't do this. Oh my gosh. Anyway, we segued from a topic that we were talking about how it wasn't a game, and now it is sort of in some weird way transformed into a game.
Weirdly, that hasn't happened yet.
I just blew my own mind. I just made the blow my mind emoji or whatever expression. But I'm just going to backtrack for a second. Come on, man. The Good Place, dude.
It's a good show. It's very clever.
I just love not having TV because I don't have to make these decisions anymore.
Let's just say, I don't want to say anything.
Don't say, don't.
If you make it through the first season, there's some things that happen that you'll be like, oh, okay.
I just want to cuddle with Kristen Bell, though.
Well, obviously.
She seems very cuddleable.
Yes. Yes, she does.
I don't even, where am I going right now? Who's?
Shout out to Dak Shepard.
Yeah, I mean, I just have a slow clap for him, dude. I mean, you made it, dude. You. He schmooped up.
We don't know the rights to that song. Stop.
Look, I'm gonna get a cease and desist letter, because the show is just so widespread.
And we're profiting massively off of using that song.
Tonight's episode is brought to you by Carl's Jr.
That's your friend Carl's son, Carl Jr.
It's a good Jay Moore bit. If you're having a YouTube party, check out the Jay Moore Hardy's bit. He did it when I think he was hosting Jim Rome's show, like guest hosting. Yeah. Have you heard that bit?
No, I have not.
It's so good. He did.
Incredible Christopher Walken.
That, oh God, that stand-up was so great. That was like late 90s. I mean, stand-up comedy was like, what else was there in life?
Now it's just all on Netflix.
I don't know. I'm very happy I don't have a Netflix account right now that's active. Netflix is kind of depressing. Can we just talk about that? It's a little depressing.
We talked about this the other night.
We did?
Yeah.
When you were in town?
Yeah. We were sitting at the bar and we were talking about BoJack.
Oh yeah, which I still need to check that out.
You were mocking me for BoJack.
Oh my God, I knew that. Dude, no, I was not mocking you. I was just laughing at the horse, like bubble sound that you made. But I believe that the episode would be gangster. I like episodes like that.
Oh, so you were just mocking me on a personal level rather
I
than.
just thought it was funny, and come on, we've had like a couple drinks or whatever.
I'm just kidding. I didn't care.
This dude's out here. No, but I didn't know. I didn't remember us talking about Netflix being depressing. I think we just talked about the selection.
Yeah, well, we talked a little about the business model.
Yeah, I I'm just really glad I don't have one. I'm just a little bit over.
What if I just started telling you my login and password right now?
Oh my god, I'd be so angry, dude. I was so happy when my sister changed hers, either on purpose or by accident. I was like, yeah, that's actually pretty good. I don't really need this right now because I burned through. What's the biker show? Yeah, I was on like Game of Thrones like pace with Sons of Anarchy. I mean, I was, and because those episodes, I think, were they half hours? That show might have been a half.
No, they were hours.
They were hours. I mean, 44 minutes. By the time it gets to whatever, but because it was on FX. But man, I was burning through those. That was like my winter because I was so zonked out from soccer that when soccer ended, I just went on a binge, and I don't think I've recovered from that. Even though I did a couple other shows since then, like House of Cards didn't wear me out; it just frustrated me. And or,
I just stopped.
but I'm saying I'm current, like this previous season, because it's gotten so bad. Like it's gotten pretty much unwatchable, and but I still did it, and I was like, all right, yeah, it still sucks, but like I was like, whatever. And then I did Orange Is the New Black, also still not great, but it was decent, and you know, but man, that wiped me out. That Sons of Anarchy wiped me out. But anyway, I'm glad I don't have an account. I am gonna check out that BoJack episode though. You might have to text me like the episode details, so I'll just like stream it if I can do it on demand or something. I don't want to like subscribe to something.
I'll just give you my password, but I promise to change it within 72 hours.
Dude, that is not cool, man.
I'll change it. Don't worry.
That's not cool. I'm trying to not be on the flicks. I actually have a story I need to tell you in the green room that, like, speaking of Netflix, the green room is, if you donate $5 to our Patreon now, you can have access to the green room. I guess we should set one of those things up. I think there's actually an integration with our podcasting app. I don't know. I'll figure it out. But that being said, okay, we've briefed everybody on what's going on in our personal lives and beyond. I was just gonna rant. No, I was just gonna rant on The Good Place again, but I'm not gonna bring up that can of worms. So I do want to just chat a little bit. Maybe not the best way to close the show, but I do want to chat a little bit about the NCAA.
Ooh, good call.
Because I was talking about it with my neighbor last night, and I think they're still out hanging out tonight. I think I can hear them outside. I might catch up with them after the show and be like, we talked about you. But we were talking about this last night, like, he was like, it's not really a big, like, this isn't a groundbreaking story. Oh, shoe companies get involved. Oh, there's agents. There's coaches that are not on the level. So is the FBI, is there another angle here, or is it just so bad and the fact that it is obviously illegal that they just felt like they had to get mixed in? Because I again, not knowing much about the whole story, I'm just keeping up with snippets on the internet. It's is what happens after this?
That's a great question, and I don't really know the answer. I assume you mean not just in the legal process sense, but in the landscape of college basketball and college sports as a whole.
Yeah, college sports as a whole. Like, what is going on?
Probably nothing. Not that that's how it should be, but that's probably. I significant fundamental changes to the system because really the only change they can make is to start paying the players directly through the NCAA or through the schools. You all right over there?
What is exactly wrong with paying players?
Nothing. They just won't do it.
Even after all this?
Yeah.
Oh.
They're just not. They're too busy being on their high horse about amateurism and all that other nonsense. But what creates situations like this is the fact that people don't get paid.
But if
and until that changes, things like this are still going to happen. Even if they change the system and change different things, money always finds its way. It found its way in 30 years ago, 60 years ago. It's going to keep happening. The methods of payment and the intermediaries are different now, but it's still going to happen. So I've been a proponent of it, not paying players directly, which I wish they would do. But if they're not going to do that, at the very least, they can eliminate the restrictions on players and allow them to, monetize their image, whether it's through doing commercials or signing autographs or just accepting a free meal from somebody who knows who they are. Like, it's of all students enrolled in college. In fact, there's an issue a couple weeks ago with a cross country runner, as we all know, one of the most lucrative sports in all of college athletics.
Mm-hmm.
Who had started a water bottle company when he was in high school and promoted it on his YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And talked about it, in which he was also talking about being a cross-country runner at Texas A&M. And they basically threatened to revoke his eligibility, eventually came to an understanding and rather than throw the book at him, as so often has been done in the past, that they basically said, all right, well, you can maintain your eligibility, but you cannot talk about the company in any way in which you are promoting or acknowledging that you're a collegiate athlete at Texas A&M. As if that was what was driving people to buy this water bottle that a college cross-country runner was promoting.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't make any sense. Or the fact that he ran in Texas A&M versus was just a runner was in any way part of it. And even if it was, they sell the schools like if you go to buy North Carolina apparel, there's North Carolina jerseys with 23 on them, or if Tyler Hansborough's in school there while he's in school, there just happen to be a bunch of number 40 Carolina jerseys. They don't say Hansborough on the back. It's just a coincidence that it's the most popular player.
Right.
So that's fine. But the person themselves or the business they started before they were collegiate athletes is not allowed to promote that as an athlete is just insanity. And it's all hidden under some, misappropriated guise of amateurism and the amateurism ideals that we hold dear of student athletes pursuing education and all that other outdated bullshit that they don't really believe, and is just a way to keep them from having to share their money with the athletes. Pay them the money. That's all it is. And they cry, poor, we can't afford to pay everybody, and yet coaches and administrators, people at the NCAA make 7-figure salaries, 8-figure salaries, and build multi-million-dollar, additions to training facilities and stadium additions. And I understand some of that comes from boosters in some situations, but let's be honest about where a lot of that money comes from TV contracts, from ticket sales, and from all the people that are paying to go see these games. Now, the one argument that makes some modicum of sense to me is the fact that football, basketball, and maybe baseball in some places, that those money-making sports pay for a lot of the other Olympic sports and other programs, and a lot of their operating budget comes from that. But you can't tell me, especially when I saw an article last week that Ohio State valued its football program at $1.5 billion.
What? Yes.
Exactly how they came to that number and all that, I don't necessarily know or believe or trust. I think that's more of this is the value of the brand versus, clearly that's not a listing of assets.
Mm-hmm.
But, probably wouldn't be too far off of that. But you can't tell me that all that money, that's where it all goes. You could easily come up with a way to pay athletes or compensate them in some way. And even if it's a mix of increasing a stipend, maybe it's a little higher based on grades rather than on-field production. Or maybe it's based on, progress towards a degree. Or maybe whatever they pay, if an athlete, turns professional, then they eventually pay that back if you're worried about the money. If you don't want to make you money as a professional athlete, you keep it. There are ways to compensate players who are being basically exploited. Some towards the means, some not. Some, while you can put a value on education, but let's be serious here. I mean, something needs to change with that. And until it changes, things like this whole Adidas scandal, those things are going to continue to happen. And they might happen anyway. And there, I do have some concerns about how it's set up to, you don't want it just to, people necessarily going to the highest bidder. I'm a capitalist at heart, but part of me likes that not to be the sole determining factor.
Yeah.
But we can't keep going around with this illusion of how things are being really done above board when clearly they're not. And I think this is going to get really, really ugly and really bad before it's over with, depending on where this goes. They've subpoenaed the Nike UIBL. I mean, who knows who else is involved in this thing. Hopefully none of the teams that we care about are, but if we're being realistic and honest with ourselves, there's certainly a chance. I think this is not an uncommon practice. Now, the degree in the level of stupidity required to get caught, I don't know exactly where that is, but let's not be naive and think that this is not happening in a lot of places around the country.
Richard Bruce O'Bannon Abernathy.
Oh, love it. I was hoping for Billis or O'Bannon. Billis actually had a good article on ESPN.com about that. So anybody who's at all interested in this should read that. He is a lawyer, so he's and a former athlete,
Mm-hmm.
someone who's long been a proponent of compensating players. So not too much mystery about where he falls on the issue.
You know, I'm just sitting back here. I'm just watching you go to work tonight. You're like Jordan scoring 60.
I'm trying to be efficient. Trying to not jack a lot of mid-range shots here.
He's got a lot of layups, a lot of dunks. Look, he's getting to the free throw line. You know, next thing you know, he's got 30, 40 points going into the fourth quarter, and he's starting to stroke it from long distance. That's what she said. And, you know. This guy's just going to work. I'm just like, I'm Steve Kerr out here. Not really sure what that means.
I'll hit the open man. He made the biggest shot.
That was a big shot. Shout out to the NBA back in the day, man. But apparently it's good again.
It's almost back. Oh, it's been good. But NBA is back soon. We're going to have to preview the association on our show next week.
Ooh, do you know what would be gangster? I'm in a podcast-based fantasy soccer league. It's unbelievable. It's like weekly, and it's all fans of this one soccer podcast, Men in Blazers, on NBCSN. That's a really funny show. And one day we should have a word jump off league.
It's one of my dreams, James.
I'm glad we're on the same page with that. You know, because I was putting myself out there a little bit.
It's picking up what you're putting down.
Pardini! That was one of our better skits.
It was.
Shout out to the Pardinis. Shout out to the Pardinis.
I second the shout out.
The motion passes. The shouts will be outed. The outs will be shouted. Pardon.
Anytime there's a vote on a motion, it makes me think of there's an old SNL skit. Tom Hanks is hosting, and it's the meeting of the Mr. Belvedere fan club, and they take a vote on not kidnapping his house pets.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, all right, you know, those for not kidnapping Mr. Belvedere's pets say aye. Everybody says aye. Those opposed say nay. I forget who played the guy that died, but he's like nay. He goes, all right, the A's have it. I can't believe it was that close.
I think I have seen that one, or I've heard that joke before.
That's a good one. It's up there with the stand up and win. Again, is one of my all-time favorites.
Stand up and win?
Stand up and win was when Seinfeld hosted.
Oh, the chicken, who are the ad wizards? Our third place contestant will get a lifetime supply. What are those? They don't have a name. Oh my goodness.
Pick a body and go with it. That's right, people.
Oh, the 90s. What happened? Could you imagine? Let's go back to the 90s. I think it'd be fun.
We should do a whole show, perhaps on my VH1 or something, about why we love the 90s. Wait, no, sorry, what? Sorry, producers that may tell me they've already done that show.
No, but I'm saying, like, let's actually go back. Let's go back in time. We have to go back. I'm so done with Lost. I'm done.
Oh my, now you're trolling me.
I'm, bro. First of all, as I've made it clear, it's not a game. I'm out here. I'm not playing, dude. I'm done with Lost. They strung me along. I spent the whole summer going to class for like 4 or 5 hours straight. Because like summer school classes are like hour and a half, 2 hours long. Coming home, you know, cooking something on the George Foreman grill, maybe going to play basketball, then all night watching Lost. They took that summer from me, bro. They took it, bro.
I don't know who you are anymore.
You think this is easy for me to just say that out loud?
Yes, I do.
No, it's not.
You make it sound really easy.
I don't talk about this with anybody.
Lost is still my favorite television show of all time.
Bro, I think we're going to have to break up.
I'm not saying it was perfect.
Bro.
I think it was close.
Oh my gosh.
Clearly first 3 seasons better than last 3.
Yes.
But at its best, that was the best show I've ever seen. I was there for the characters. The story was great. It was nice, and the mystery was great. Trying to figure all that out. It was really one of the first internet shows where people had theories and compared things, and it spawned podcasts. And you look for little Easter eggs and you try to figure out what's coming. And it was interactive, which was one of the enjoyable things. But at its core, for me, that show was really all about the characters. And so some of the questions that were answered or not answered, it ultimately didn't matter that much to me.
I will say, shout out to Kate, though. I mean, talk about...
Shout out.
That's a podcast. Let me open up a little tab here.
Evangeline Lilly, you can come on the podcast anytime you want.
Let's go to Yeah Burger with her and our other friend. Oh, bro, I'm done. Show's over. Close the show. Show's done. Oh, that's something we need to talk about. Sorry, my air conditioner is kicking in, so it's getting a little loud in here. We have to talk about... Did you hear about this? I sound silly. I feel silly saying this. I'm pulling up the Trello board to add... Wait, who am I adding again? Homegirl. Oh, God, Kate. Can you just be less cute? Guest bucket list. For those of you
He was in a couple of Hobbit movies.
The what movies?
They did the Hobbit.
Oh, I heard she quit acting.
Oh, really?
There was one of those BuzzFeed type articles before that became a whole actual thing where it was top 5 actors you won't believe are done with whatever, and she was on one of those, and it was talking about how she didn't really like the experience at all. She didn't want to do it anymore. Now I don't know because I know TV is known to yeah, and that's a show. It's on location in Hawaii, and yeah. Well, that one woman, the woman that's in Fast and Furious, she kept getting in trouble in Hawaii. She got a DUI and stuff. Michelle Rodriguez, maybe.
Yeah.
She was getting DUIs and stuff. I've also heard that island that's a problem there, alcohol and stuff. Or am I getting that confused with Alaska? I know it's a big thing in Alaska.
Yeah, I think substance in general.
Yeah.
The weird daylight stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's a common problem on reservations.
Mm-hmm.
But those rates are a lot higher than society as a whole.
Mm-hmm. Now, for those keeping score at home, here is our guest bucket list. If you know a way to get in contact with these people, and they,
Or you are.
oh yeah, that's true. Because I think Rashida Jones definitely listens to our podcast.
Definitely.
I'm tagging her in the show notes. See if we can get. See if we can get. Can we get Rashida's people on the phone, please? Thank you. Right now, it's Matt Jones, Rashida Jones, Melania Vontrub, of course, the Lily, who's now Squirrel Girl, Rachel Nichols. Wow, yeah. Josh Jackson.
Do you watch The Jump?
No, I don't watch TV.
Great NBA show that she does has various NBA former players, analysts, writers on. It's very good. Very good. She's a pro, man. She's one of my favorites.
Shout out.
Mad shout out and respect.
Oh, look, people! I told you Richard Rich is not playing tonight.
Well, while we're there, I want to add somebody else to the bucket. I would love to have her on with Rachel.
Uh-oh.
Two of the leading women in NBA television circles. Would love to hear about their experiences covering the league. Dorsberg loves TV.
I'm putting her at the top of the list.
Maybe I'm probably like second to Drake. Dorsberg fan.
Wait, Drake is about her?
Oh, did you know she was doing a Raptors game last year? And he was wearing like a T-shirt or like a sweater or sweatshirt with her picture on it. They said like I love you, Doris, or something like that. It was fantastic.
Wow, Drake, you are a high schooler. What?
Well, he did go to Nebraska.
We watched you in high school, Drake. Drake. I put her at the top of the list. Shout out to her.
Although he did it was a little weird and creepy.
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, it was a shirt, a big picture of Doris, and it said "Woman Crush Every Day."
I would definitely cuddle though.
So I'm trying to approach it from a more professional angle.
Cuddling is very professional.
You mean a metaphorical cuddle?
I mean, ooh, this is like a 30 Rock bit. Business cuddling.
Is it before or after a werewolf bar mitzvah?
Ooh, super scary. Boys becoming men, men becoming wolves. Well done.
Thank you. Same to you.
We've also got Josh Jackson on the guest bucket list. I'm not as enthusiastic about that one, but I've heard that he's cool. Kevin Smith, that's a pretty tough one. That's like probably the hardest one on this whole list.
Well, he does so many podcasts of his own.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, yeah, what are you going to get an hour of his time? Hour plus, what? And an evening with Kevin Smith. I mean, that's an evening with Kevin Smith. You know what? It's approaching Desert Island DVD territory.
Wow.
Yeah. Because, I mean, Empire Strikes Back, that's going to get old. I think so, dude. I think the Desert Island is going to get old. Wow, that's like a Desert Island lock for you.
I would say it's a lot, but it doesn't get old.
I mean, but it's not old for me now. I could probably watch that movie once a month. And I feel like I sort of do just like through YouTube and stuff, like random clips. But like every day?
I mean, anything every day.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah. I guess Desert Island, you're not watching it every day. You're just like every few days, you're like, all right, I need to like see what humans look like.
Usually a good thing.
But yeah, Kevin Smith's the hardest one on our list. Evangeline Lilly, Cuddle Central. cuddlecentral.unc.edu.
Do not reply all to the listserv, please.
We have to have talked about this in the show before, but did you ever get those emails at the end of the semester in college when you had like a big class, like a Bio 100 or 101, Econ 101, Poli-Sci 101, or you could conceivably just never come to class and just like come for the tests or whatever. Of course, that never works, but and somebody would send an email to the whole class listserv because you can, it's like not hard to figure out what that address is, and it would be like, I was in a bad car accident and I missed like 4 weeks of class. Can someone send me the notes from the semester? I mean, it was like without fail, every semester in college, I got an email like that for a class that I was in. I mean, I just love that. Like, it's sort of
No chance.
like, what? Anyway, I don't know how I got on that track, but yeah, Empire Strikes Back. Nah, I'm good, bro. I'm good. But anyway, Evangeline Lilly is now on the bucket list. She's at the bottom of the list right now, but I think that could change.
That's just purely based on the strength of the list.
Yeah, no, of course. We love having the show. We'll reach out to your people. We'll make it work. We're really excited to work with you. Yeah, let's get lunch. Oh man, I think I went over the line there. Wow, I was asking for lunch. Damn, I just screwed up the whole deal.
You went over for lunch.
You better stop. Okay, I swear. Okay, listen, dude. People. Oh, okay. Listen, everybody. Oh my God.
You said you went over the line.
You said I went over to lunch.
No.
Yes, you did. No, you.
Well, hey guys, we're back for lunch.
Okay, listen. I want everyone listening to the show to know I'm being held hostage. You think that I'm recording this in my apartment and Rich is in Jacksonville, but he is digitally holding me hostage because I cannot contain myself anymore if this dude keeps trolling me. He's trolling me, people. I'm looking at imaginary people in my apartment. Because you're trolling me, dude. That is so... Oh my God, that's so Raven. I mean...
That's so rich.
That's so Richard. Anyway, okay. We've covered a lot.
This has been a deep show.
It has. I think. Look, maybe it's a turning point for us. We're serious. We're a serious podcast now. I'm growing a beard. I'm just only wearing flannel.
You rock the beard well.
Thank you. This is kind of it's one of those things where I get it shaved off when I go to the barber, and then I forget like what the beard looks like, and then I get it back. I'm kind of like, okay, kind of like a little beard a little bit. Like I don't know. I like it.
Your high pitched voice always cracks me up.
You just I've been catching a lot of glimpses of myself in the mirror lately, and I'm kind of like, I'm like, okay, I see you.
Who is that?
Yeah. So the beard stays. The beard stays. Have you ever noticed in like certain sci-fi, like low budget 90s, early aughts sci-fi movies, there's always a scene, this was in a Terminator movie too, where in the trailer or even in the movie itself, where it's like they're all hanging out and they're like just fought their way back from some aliens. They found some shelter and they stumble across like this like civilization, and they're all like, come on, we gotta get out of here, they're right over the ridge, like they're coming for us right now, and like see them in the distance, And like, there's like always like this old woman who's like just can't be bothered with like the apocalypse that's happening around her. And she's like, no one's going anywhere until the little ones had something to eat. Am I way off there, or is that like something that's in every sci-fi movie?
Yeah, there's that weird
Anyway, I just wanted to share. I've been thinking about that for a couple weeks. This guy was the
great way to end the show.
no. Look, this guy was out here. You're throwing punches left and right. I'm completely battered.
I didn't mean to.
You.
That last one was, if that was a punch, it was. I just turned around really quick and happened to accidentally catch you.
That's two technicals. You're out of the game, dude.
I'll accept my punishment. I feel like that was not a targeting call. We can talk about that next week. Ridiculous targeting in college football.
Bro, I like barely watched any games last weekend, and I saw like 5 targeting ejections. It was crazy. I was like, can you tackle in football anymore?
No, you can't.
Holy cow. I mean, honestly, like I watched a couple of games with my neighbor next door, and then we went to a bar and hung out with some of his old friends. Then we came back here for a little bit, and it was just like targeting was just the only thing that was being played on TV. And again, it's our fault. Because we took a month off the podcast, dude. And it just, we have a responsibility, man.
If I make quotes, the great Walter Sobchak, has the whole world gone crazy? I'm the only one around here who gives a shit about the rules.
It is our fault. We apologize, America, the world.
As your future president and vice president, that's right, I said it.
What? You can't put me on the ticket. I can't be president if you get assassinated. I'm not a citizen. They'd go to the sex state. That's like, that people would eat that up.
You're a citizen.
No, I'm not natural born.
Okay.
So I couldn't, like, secession skips me.
You're right. Okay.
It's in the
Secretary of Defense?
I'm still in the line for secession. That's the problem with like you. So you have to like look at it like, what are people going to attack? So SecDef is actually pretty high up there in the line. Because like I know in the Obama administration, like the 19th person down was skipped. Like she was not a natural born citizen. She was the only one in the whole line. But she was so far away, it would have to be like an absolute catastrophe that it got to her. So that nobody really cared. But like, if you do SecDef, especially because I don't have any military service. I mean, living in D.C. for 5 years and trying to be like
I've seen how you can impact the back line on a soccer field. So I'm perfectly fine with you being my Secretary of Defense.
people, I'm being held hostage. Somebody come help me.
Listen, you can pick whatever position of the cabinet you want. But as two of your future leaders, James and I would like to apologize to the American people. Listen, we are politicians who own up to our mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
And if we're wrong, we say we're wrong. And if we make a mistake, we try to rectify said mistake.
Yeah.
So we're not going to do that again. We're going to be back. Hopefully next week. I'm on a little staycation.
Oh, actually, me too. I'm off like till next week till Thursday, till Friday.
Maybe we make up for lost time and try to right the ship and maybe do a couple shows next week.
Yeah, I wish I didn't have practice because then I could just come down and post up.
That'd be great.
Yeah, I was hoping there'd be like another storm or something, so I could just be like, all right, yeah, practice is done. Don't go out.
Let's not wish for more natural disaster.
Well, not like a yeah. I mean, yeah, like
Thunderstorm.
a weather system.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that came out wrong. That's what she said. Anyway,
Michael, what have we said about that's what she said?
that you don't want me to. I don't remember.
Michael, what have we said about Yepers?
I don't remember.
I love Yepers.
She.
I'll just drop it. Like, I'll casually drop that in, like, not like business meetings, but like talking to coworkers and colleagues. Like, so, like, do you have the Yepers? Just to see what the reaction is.
Shout out to Melora Hardin, dude. Oh, bucket list. Oh, bucket list.
Wait, what happened to Gould?
Dude, you better stop. Oh my god. Bucket list. Fire, dude.
We'll have to light a candle if we ever have her on.
Wait, why are we lighting a candle? I don't.
Do you remember when they were living together and she was making her candles? And she starts like playing her music.
Oh, that's right. She turned into a crazy person.
And Hunter, the assistant, comes.
Shout out to Hunter. Oh my god. Melora Hardin is fighting for relevance in the bucket list with Evangeline Lilly. It's a good list. It's a good list. Good test.
Thank you, Ms. Fox.
Good test. All right.
Oh, well done. Well done.
Thank you.
Great show tonight. Good to be back.
It is good to be back. Now, hopefully now that we're back, people will calm down. There'll be no more, call outs from the president to the NFL. The NBA will just kind of stay out of it. The NCAA will distance itself from the mafia.
Let this be a lesson to any ne'er-do-wells out there that may think just because the show's not happening that we're not watching.
Yeah. Yeah, we will talk about you on the podcast, and we will choose to not give you a shout out. Ooh. This dude is out here. This dude's just coming up with show ideas for fun. He's just hanging out. This is Rich on a Thursday, people. He's not even warmed up. This is a scrimmage for him. Y'all think it's a game, dude.
Hashtag this is not a game.
It's not a game, bro.
Looks like the Packers-Bears football contest right now.
Oh yeah. Actually, I don't have that up on Amazon Prime because I guess Amazon Prime people get Thursday night games on their devices now. So
we talked about this a while back.
oh, about like how like it was decoupling from like cable and everything.
Yeah, we talked about that on the show. That's where things are headed.
The real question is, which major streaming network's going to carry the word? They're just battling.
That's a great question.
I get so many phone calls. I'm like, just talk to my agent, dude. I'm like, look, I don't make any decisions without Rich. They're like, look, dude, we can get you your own thing. I'm like, look, you think this is a game, dude? It's not a game.
Well, we share an agent.
Ooh, one agent. That's a good idea.
It's Deborah Jo Rupp is our agent. She played Seinfeld's agent on Seinfeld.
She was phenomenal.
Based off that experience, we've got a middle school talent show that we're playing next week in Secaucus, New Jersey.
Could you imagine? If I were flying for.
We don't get bumped by the lizard guy.
Could you imagine flying to New Jersey from where you live to do? Oh God. Reminds me of when I was a wedding DJ. It's like, good grief, this is just not worth the money sometimes.
We might need to make that a recurring segment.
It's not worth the money sometimes, or I'm a wedding DJ.
No, stories from the DJ booth.
Did I tell my New Year's? I can't tell my New Year's story. I want to have a job. I can't tell that story.
You might have told it to me in the green room before.
I have New Year's.
I think so.
Oh, New Year's in DC.
Or maybe it was either Halloween or New Year's. I can't remember. It might have been a Halloween story.
What happened on Halloween? Now I'm trying to remember.
We can discuss it in that room.
Yeah, we're going to go in the green room, everybody. And if you donate $20 to our Patreon, you can join the conversation via chat and video. That is very real sounding, so I hope people don't actually try to donate. Don't do that unless we actually have a link set up. If someone's pretending to be the Word Podcast on Patreon, report them as spam. Report as spam, unless it's us. You'll be able to tell if it's us. It'll be the one that's not a game. People think it's a game. People honestly think it's a game.
But it is the end of the podcast.
It is the end of the podcast. Another episode 10, another milestone.
Give it a 10.
Wow. The reviews are in for your consideration.
I'd say the reviews are 10.
Ooh, this guy. People think he's playing around. I just sat back. I'm sitting on a podcast with a future president.
I'm sitting on a podcast with a future Secretary of the Interior.
No, I cannot accept the position.
Too high up also?
Interior is kind of up there from what I recall. It's like Veep, State, Def. I think Interior is next, actually. Wait, maybe President of this. No, that's the Vice President. Speaker of the House. Speaker of the House is next after those.
Isn't that the song that George was always singing? Speaker of the House. I'm trying to think of a good cabinet position for you. A good position.
The Secretary of
Infrastructure? Could you be infrastructure or treasury?
Treasury. I don't have a financial background for that, and there is no infrastructure.
Hey, in the current White House, that makes you a prime candidate.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to get that job. I should have never left DC. I could have gotten a job with Trump. Posted up.
You are Secretary of Podcasting.
I was going to say the Secretary of Badissin and ensuring that people get their Badiz dissed.
Stop it.
You, what?
We're closing down the
Yo, now we're closing it down. You've been trolling me up. Now the studio's closed. See, people, you see what I mean? He's the one that controls when the studio's closed. Not me.
All right, on that note.
Wow. I'm Richard Bruce Carter Abernathy.
Thanks for listening to the word. See you guys.